I get the impression, I don't know this to be true at all, but I get the impression there's a bit of mutual love and respect between South Africa and Argentina. And I wonder if it is because, as this title of the video suggests, they are the BRAAI brothers. That if there's two countries on earth that love a good steak and a glass of red wine to wash it down with, it would be South Africa and Argentina. And I'm sure whatever the result, there'll be some meat being consumed on Saturday night in Santiago. As it is, we have got a game between the #1 side in the world, the world champions and likely winners of this year's Rugby Championship, South Africa, against the #1 kit in the world. The stash for Argentina is always chef's kiss on point. If they play half as good as they look, then they could win this one. Will they? Well, let's discuss. I'm Tim and this is Egg Chasers. Thank you very much for your support on the channel. Give the video a thumbs up and leave your comment down below. How do you see this one going? How much chance do you give Argentina? They are typically and stereotypically a team that can blow hot and cold. They can be absolutely dynamite and then they can be absolutely woeful. The state of play with this game in the Rugby Championship in terms of actually winning the trophy at the end of it is Argentina have to win and score 3 more tries than South Africa. I think that's correct, isn't it? In order to deny them a bonus point and get the full 5 points themselves and take this down to the final match, which will be in Nelspruit next weekend. I don't think that will be, you tell me. I don't think that will be remotely in Argentina's thinking. Well, it might be right there at the very back of their mind that if they have a lead and they're 2 tries up, they might roll the dice towards the end of a game. But I'm sure they're just trying to win this one because that would be a feat in and of itself. They have not got a good record against South Africa. So I'm not so sure they are starting this game thinking remotely about the Rugby Championship. I know it's a bit of a cliche to say, but they're just going to play the next game as it comes. I'm sure that is what's going to happen. As for the team, well, the Kremer at lock experiment is done. He's in the back row and on the flank with Pablo Matera. Talk about these two teams being the BRAAI brothers. Those two, Kremer and Matera, the Bosch brothers, they can do some serious damage, and I'm sure they will do. Jose Martin Gonzalez out of the 23 seems kind of harsh. Oviedo given the #8 job. He's a big old boy as well. But that is a positive, I would say, for Argentina. Look at the impact of Gonzalez coming off the bench and of Santi Carreras coming off the bench. If you need to chase the game and you want the game to open up, who better than Gonzalez, who is just a rampaging ball of energy, and Carreras, who does have a bit of X factor to his play, coming on and maybe changing things a little bit. Albanese getting the nod at 10. That's probably the biggest selection call in this game. I guess it's no surprise with how the last game went. And Albanese is kind of more of a conventional fly half than Santi Carreras is. He can bust the game open, but he has got good players around him. You just want, with Argentina, someone that's going to play territory when it's needed and let the ball fly when it's needed. Santi Carreras can maybe do that better than most fly halves in the world, but much like Argentina as a team, can blow hot and cold. Albanese, you feel, might be more of a steady selection. We will see, I guess. But how are Argentina going to approach this with their team? Because they've shown, and in the second half of that last game against Australia, they've shown they can when they want to just let rip. They've got some brilliant attacking players. Are they going to just go for it with nothing to lose? I wonder. And if that's the case, are South Africa going to bring the Tony Brown, more attacking, wider, quicker style of play to this as well? Or are South Africa going to tighten up and go a bit more set piece on this one? It's going to be fascinating to watch tactically. It could potentially end up looking like a game of sevens. Equally, they could cancel each other out a little bit and it could go a little bit tighter. And it's hard to know if that happens, who that would favour most. Because to remind you of the South African side, they have made 10 changes, but still can field loads of World Cup winners in their ranks. Interesting calls. You've got quite, more of a, again, a bit like Argentina, a 10 that can play percentages a little bit more. Can also open the game up in Hondre Pollard, but then some proper wheels out back with Kurt Lee Arendts. Lacanio Am at 12 is an interesting call, and Apaleli Fassi at fullback. And a mixture of experienced guys and some of the new blood in the pack, with guys like Eben Etzebeth ready to come on and equal Victor Matfield's cap record when he comes on. So they do have some firepower on the bench as well. As for a combined team, and I'll tell you what, this will give you a little bit of an idea of where the balance of power lies in this game and how this one could go. Actually, I should have mentioned with Argentina, sorry. The replacement props, talking about the bench, firepower there. The replacement props, I don't know a lot about these guys. Do you? I know that Calles, and again, I'm not even 100% sure that's how you pronounce his name, but Calles plays for Pau in the French top 14, but I don't know if he's played. I don't remember seeing him play for Argentina. And Pedro Delgado, I know I haven't seen him play for Argentina because he's making his debut, and he plays for the Argentinian domestic team, Dogos. Now, I believe he's quite a big old boy, but what a challenge, making your debut against the world champs. And the, well, I mean, he's a tight head prop. He could be coming on against Oxen Che. And I mean, that said, to be fair, when you look at the bench for South Africa, you could argue Jan-Hendrik Wessels is still a bit of an experiment. And Gerhard Steenekamp is relatively inexperienced. So, you know, that could even itself out. Well, the combined team will give you a bit of an idea. This is how I see things. So out of the 23 men named for South Africa and the 23 men named for Argentina, who would you pick in a combined 23-man squad? And you can see that even though lots of changes have been made to the Springbok side, there are 5 Argentinians only in the starting lineup, 6 in the matchday 23, which I think tells a picture. I've gone for an entire Springbok front 5. I think that those second rows for Argentina can be good. Molina and Rubiolo, but I just fancy the South African front 5 a little bit more, to be honest. Big game for Thomas du Toit, isn't it? It feels like there's a bit of pressure on this one. Like, can he deliver on the promise that he's shown? Because it's a tough pecking order. Being a tight head prop in South Africa, you have to be the best of the best in order to get a look in. But I really rate Thomas du Toit. So big game for him. Those 2 flankers, it's a little bit like the Australia against New Zealand game. And I've got a video in the feed looking at that. And in that combined team, I picked Bobby V, Rob Valentini, and Fraser McRae on the flanks. I've picked Matera and Kremer over Van Staden and Ben Jason Dixon, who are both very good players in their own right, but I'd go for the Bosch brothers. And that back row there, that is frightening. I mean, the damage that those two, Matera, Kremer and Visa, could do as a trio is pretty scary. On one wing, I've gone for Mateo Carreras over Makazole Mapimpi. I've gone for Santiago Chocobares over Lekanyo Am. Now, Lekanyo Am is a world-class talent. I should say probably, in fairness, was a world-class talent, and he is incredible. And I'm sure when he gets a run of games, he will get back to the sort of form that he's shown in the past. But he hasn't played a lot of rugby with the 12 shirt on his back, which is why I've gone for Chocobares, who's played big games there for Argentina. He's played in Champions Cup finals and won with Toulouse wearing that 12 jersey. So I feel like he deserved to be in. And for the same reason, I've edged Juan Cruz Malia over Apaleli Fassi. Fassi is ace. Malia's really, really good as well and got a lot more international experience. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch. And I could be made to look silly come the end of the game with that one. Gonzalez alone is the only player I've got on the bench, which I think should tell you that I see this one going South Africa's way. I do. I think it'll be a 10-point game. I think there'll be double-digit lead. So I'll go South Africa by 11 to win the Rugby Championship. Hopefully Argentina to make a bit of a game of it. And actually, I think it could end up being Tony Ball against... I've just totally brain farted the name of the Argentina head coach. Oh, he used to play for Bristol. Felipe Ball and Tony Ball could be some sevens dynamite rugby. I think there'll be tries in this one. But actually, both of these teams are pretty handy when it gets tight. So a couple of maul tries in amongst it as well. Looking forward to this one a lot. It's on Saturday night. I'll be here on the channel straight after the game with a video. However late that is, I don't care. I love my rugby that much. And if you appreciate the content on the channel, please hit subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.